right, before we get started with what I want to show you next, which is the FOIL method, I want to remind you how you multiply a monomial by a binomial, okay? Because I just want to make sure you remember how to do this. It's just basically the distributive property. And also test your exponent rules, okay? So remember, you multiply 5 times 2x. 5 times 2 is 10. This is x to the 1, that's x to the 1, so that would be x to the second. And then multiply 5x times 4, which is 20x. Now, can I combine these and say that this is 30x to the third? No. The only way you can combine them is if it has the same exponent on the bases. All right, so for this one, you do the same thing. Sorry, that's my chair moving out of the way. 5 times 6 is 30. X to the 1 times x to the 1 is going to give me x to the second. Y to the 1 times y to the 1 is going to give me y to the second. Then I need to multiply 5 times -9, which is -45. I don't have another x. I have 1y, 2y, so that's y to the third. And then I can't do anything else with it. Then down here, the same thing. 6 times 3 is 18. W to the 1 times w to the second is w to the third. I don't have a z. I don't have another y. I don't have another x. So I'm just going to bring it down in ABC order. Then I'm going to multiply 6w zy times -4 zy to the second. So 6 times -4 is -24. W is by itself. 1z here, 1z here. So that's z to the second. 1y here and 2y's there, and that's y to the third. So that's just a real quick brush up on how to multiply a monomial times another monomial, or a monomial times a binomial. And actually, let's just do an easy one. What about a monomial times a trinomial? Okay, all that means, again, you're just doing the distributive property. So you'd have 30xy minus 30x to the second y, that's 1x, and then minus 20xz, okay? All right, now what we're going to get into today is called the FOIL method. And that is what we do when we multiply a binomial times a binomial. And the FOIL is actually an acronym that stands for the order that you guys are going to do this. So F, okay, the F is going to stand for first. And what you do is you multiply the first terms together in each one. So you're going to multiply 2x times 5x, and you're going to get 10x squared. So that's where the first comes from, okay? The outer, okay, we'll put it in green. It's where you multiply the last term in the first term in the first parentheses and the last term in the second parentheses. It's on the outside of the problem. So you're going to have 2x times -8, which is -16x, okay? And then you have the inner, which you're going to multiply the 2 on the inside, kind of like the meat. This is the bread, this is the meat. So that's going to be the I for inner. So you're going to multiply 3 times 5x, which is going to be 15x. And then, which color have I red? And then you have the last, which is you take the last ones in each parenthesis and you multiply them together. So last will be in red. So last is going to be 3 times -8, which is going to be -24. Then what we're going to do is we're going to put this together, okay, into basically a quadnomial, because there's going to be 4 terms. Let's pull up here. I'm going to have 10x squared minus 16x plus 15x and minus 24. Now, what do you notice about the 2 middle terms? What can we do with the -15x and the 15x? I'm sorry, -16x and 15x. You can combine them. And so what is -16x plus 15x? -1x. So my final answer would be 10x squared minus x minus 24. And as funky as that looks, that's the answer. Okay? All right, so let's look at another one. And I will try to use the same colors. All right, first, 11x is first, 2x is first. So you're going to multiply 11x. I'm going to do long way on this one, and then I'll do short way on the next one. 11x times 2x, and I'm going to get 22x squared. Okay. Outer, I use green, are going to be the ones on the outside. Okay, so outer is going to be 11x times 6, which is going to be 66x. Let me put this in parentheses up here. And then we had inner, which are the 2 on the inside. So the inner was negative 3 times 2x, which gives me negative 6x. And then we had the last, which were the last ones in each set of parentheses. So last is going to be negative 3 times 6, which is negative 18. Okay. Now, when I put all this together, I'm going to have 22x squared plus 66x minus 6x minus 18. Now, what can I combine? Right here. Usually 9 out of 10 times you can combine that middle. So you get 22x. Your final answer would be 22x squared. 66x minus 6x is going to be a positive 60x minus 18. And that's your final answer. Okay. All right. Now the next ones I'm going to do, I'm not going to write out to the side. I will do the different colors just to help you out. Okay. So the first we did in blue. So 8x times 4x is going to be 32x squared. Okay. Outer, 8x times negative 3 is negative 24x. And this is all I expect to see from you guys. You don't have to do out to the side like I did on that one. Inner is going to be negative 7 times 4x, which is negative 28x. And then the last ones, negative 7 times negative 3 is positive 21. Now right here, I can combine those together. So my final answer is going to be 32x squared. Negative and a negative, you can add them together. 8 and 4 is 12. So you're going to have negative 52x plus 21. And you're done. Okay. All right. Let's look at another one. These are kind of fun, especially when you get on a roll. All right. First we did in blue. So 6x times 2x, 12x squared. Outer we did in green. 6x times 4 is 24x. Inner, I did in orange. So I have negative 9 times 2x is negative 18x. And then the last ones I did in red. Negative 9 times 4 is negative 36. All right, now we can combine those in the middle. 24 minus 18 is going to be 6. So we're going to have 12x squared plus 6x minus 36. And you're done. Okay? All right, why don't you guys work on that little radicals test that I gave you, and we'll just make this an easy week since we did 2 different topics. All right, have a good weekend, and I will see you next week.